And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win. Like I said, we're basically just going to close out the month of June since we had 3 more days left, with just me continuing to off the week of Who Would Win. And this goes to us from Caesar, 38. Well, that's the question: who won the fight, Ben Tennyson or Izuku Midoriya? Obviously, Ben Tennyson. Now, this is all going to be really dependent on which version of Ben we're using. If we're looking at anything beyond Ultimate Alien, we have to factor in those aliens, because that's each era of Ben has a different kind of group of aliens. Even like the most recent reboots, Ben, even though it was rebooting Ben, it didn't give him the same original 10, which I found honestly kind of weird. But whatever, why'd they reboot it anyway? I don't know. Regardless. Ben obviously has his original 10 plus more. We could go over all of them, but needless to say, all of them had their own specific abilities. But the problem is Ben only unlocked the Master Code that one episode, and then he lost it. So, and then the Omnitrix had a cooldown time. So, it ultimately, that is the weakest version of Ben. Then you go into Alien Force and Ultimate Alien Ben, whose aliens are a bit more complex, not even a bit, a lot more complex, and did have access to individuals like the Celestial Sapien, Alien X, who can pretty much do anything. And then obviously you go into Omniverse, where he's still got the exact same roster from Ultimate and Alien Force, and even gets some of his old aliens back. Ben is a skilled kid. He's not like a master hand-to-hand fighter or anything like that, but he knows how to fight in his alien forms. He can even hold his own in a standard fight if he needs to. He's quick on the fly. He's actually pretty smart for what it's worth. Now the Omnitrix itself will prevent Ben from ultimately dying if it needs to. It will pick an alien that's right for the job. And the Omnitrix can't be removed by natural means. Like, you can't kill Ben you can't cut his arm off necessarily. At least not like right at the base where the Omnitrix is. In theory, I suppose if you tried to cut his arm at the shoulder off, that might work. But I don't know. I think that's what Death Battle's ideology was when they gave Hal the wins, that when he cut it off, it wasn't like at the base where the Omnitrix actually was. It was his arm further up. I'm guessing that's what their logic was. But Izuku Midoriya was born in Quirkless, and then ultimately got the quirk All for One from All Might. Now, All for One obviously is a crystalline, power, stockpile power, basically. One person cultivates the power and passes it on to the next person. They basically inherited all the strengths of that said person and added on to their own as they get stronger, and then so forth and so on. So it continues, and it's not. And the thing about that is, it's not like it's a linear growth. No, this is like that's how All for One or All for All works in terms of like power output and growth. But with Midoriya's case, it's more than that. He learned how to use All for One in a style known as Full Cali, which allows him to move at hyper speeds, increase strength, but only for certain percentages, because he can't handle all of All for One's power, even as he stands currently in the manga. Although, as we'll talk about in a little bit, he can do a pseudo version of 100%, which actually means if he hits 100%, he can do like 200%, which is nuts. Which I actually really like that quirk, Fajin, which we'll talk about in just a second. But Midoriya is, because of the nature of his quirk, his natural style is hand-to-hand fighting. He can create shockwaves and gusts of wind once he's hit like a certain level of power, like around 20% or 15%, I think it was. He can use 100% of his power, but it's detrimental on his body. But more importantly, Izuku does have access to all the quirks of the previous users. Now, this is something that is very unique to Izuku. And I can't remember exactly what they said, exactly why he was the unique one, but basically all the quirks are building, and now they built and they're ready. They're much stronger now than they were in their day, the user's day. He has access to Black Whip, which basically creates energy tendrils for grabbing, latching onto things, pulling, and binding individuals. Very useful technique. Can be used for basically support, offense, and a bit of defense if he needs to. He can fire it from his tongue. He can use Float, which basically allows him to float or fly. So that's very useful for him to have as well. He can use the smoke quirk. I'm trying. Oh yeah, he uses smoke quirk, which basically, or smoke screen, which basically he secretes smoke from his pores. Now this is great for distracting and disappearing, but if he uses it in a mass area, it's kind of a catch-22 because it's very difficult for him to actually escape from that area without someone noticing it at that point. He's got danger sense, which is in essence spider sense. He gets like this sharp pain in his head, and he realizes and he can sense danger basically coming in there. And the fifth quirk, we haven't seen the sixth one yet, but I have a feeling we'll see it very soon. The fifth quirk is Fajin. Now, Fajin is a very unique one. Basically, what it does is it builds up kinetic energy by repeated motions. So if I do this, that's a repeated motion. I'm building up kinetic energy in my arm, and then it releases it in a sudden blast. So if he bends his legs multiple times, he can jump at super high speeds. If he winds his arm up, he can just boom like that. You add that on now to his actual percentages, he can actually use. He even said, "I can pretty much do all what you did at 100% now, without actually needing 100% of my power," which is very interesting. So it's he's got actually quite the collection of quirks on his side. But I mean, he's still human. In fact, his quirk is actually very detrimental to his health. It's because he has a tendency to push himself far too hard when he really shouldn't. And this has caused him multiple breaks, he's been in traction pretty much a few times. Izuku really does have a hero's heart, but he's so blinded by his own, need to, be the hero and do the right thing that does get in the way sometimes. But who would win in a fight between these two? I'm going to tell you right now, against main original series Ben, Izuku's going to kick his ass. First off, he kicked any version of Ben without an Omnitrix or, turning into an alien's ass. But beyond that, main series Ben doesn't have an alien that can do anything really significant to Izuku. Forearms could compete with Izuku in strength, but quite frankly, Izuku's strength at this point has surpassed someone like Forearms, even without using Fajin. And he's still got Black Whip, and he's still got Danger Sense, and he's still got Float and Smoke Screen. So I do fully believe he could beat Forearms, no problem. Same with Diamond Head. The Diamond Head's probably got a bit more durability. Same with Wild Mutt. Heat Blast, all he's got to really do is, keep out of the way of the heat using, Wind Blast to, block it, maybe block with Black Whip. And then Rip Jaw, he doesn't really need any help taking that kind of Stink Fly. Doesn't really stand much of a shot. Cannonbolt definitely got durability on his side and could hit Midoriya around, but Midoriya's just got to stay out of his way, really. Wildvine would be a tricky opponent, admittedly, because he's a living plant. Gray Matter's not going to do anything. Upgrade would be interesting, but he'd need technology there. The only one that could probably be a big problem for him, frankly, is Way Big. And the problem is that Way Big has size, but he doesn't have and reach, and he even can fire like an energy blast, but he doesn't have speed. All really Izuku has to do is hide within his blind spots and wait for the damn timer to run out. That's assuming he realizes what the timer it has a timer on there. Excuse me 1 second. Just got a little something caught in my throat there. So yeah, he beat main series Ben without too much difficulty. Alien Force and Ultimate Alien Ben, however, are different beasts. The Omnitrix does not have the same cooldown time, so he can rotate between alien forms. Humongosaur, I argue, is probably much stronger than Forearms was, so he's got that advantage, definitely. And I think, Forearms is not Forearms. Humongosaur is probably maybe not truly the equivalent of Gigantomachia, but might be like the Ben 10 equivalent of that, because he can get bigger, like double his height and strength and size and durability. So it would definitely be difficult for Izuku to do much damage against Humongosaur. Not say he couldn't, just saying that'd be difficult. So again, it would be a matter of, I've got to, wait him out. Jet Ray, we know, can move at, near light speeds. And Izuku does not have that level of speed on him at all. He probably, though, has the durability to outlast Jet Ray, though. Not Crustacean. What was it? Brainstorm. Their species has Crustacean in the name. Brainstorm would be different. Brainstorm, I think Izuku would actually have a better time with, because he's already got the lightning-esque kind of aura that comes with full cowling anyway, and he's got Black Whip on his side. Big Chill. I hope Big Chill's all my favorites. Big Chill, I think that one would give Dave Izuku problems because he can just go intangible and freeze him at the same time. So I don't know. Big Chill would be a problem definitely. Echo, I actually don't think would be that big of a problem. Ben, I think, could just Black Whip, Smoke Screen, whatever he needs to, and just get him out of there. Chroma Stone, I think he's no more durable than Diamond. In fact, I actually think he's a lot less durable than Diamond was. So, yeah, I think Izuku could take Chroma Stone. Who am I missing from that line? Oh, Swamp Fire. Swamp Fire is basically a mix of Heat Blast and Wild Vine. So I don't know about that one. I do not know. Yeah, I do not know about that. Spider Monkey, but yeah, Izuku could beat Spider Monkey, but obviously he can't beat Alien X. There's no way he could do that. And Ben's also got aliens when we get into Ultimate Alien that and Omniverse that are like atomics, which is basically like uses atomic energy, the gravity one, Clockwork, which can control time itself. So Ben's got a lot more powerful aliens that could beat the ever-loving crud out of Izuku. So the question is, what's the likelihood of that happening? The problem I see here is that Izuku's actually got more experience just fighting with his own abilities and power than Ben does, because Ben relies on the Omnitrix. And Izuku also fights giant monster villains. So the aliens really wouldn't be that big of an issue for him. Humongousaur, I think he would just outlast. I think he'd just outlast him. Jet Ray, while he's faster than Izuku, doesn't really have anything to put Izuku down permanently. So, in fact, scratch that out. Big Chill, I think, could legitimately beat Izuku, and we know Alien X could. But we know an Alien Force, an Ultimate Alien, that Ben did not want to use Alien X if he could avoid it, because, yeah. And then, of course, you get, let me tell you something, Izuku Midoriya, Wrath, he was going to beat your ass. Like, I loved Wrath. Oh, is that an actual player? Yeah, they're dumber than we are. So, yeah, Wrath, I like Wrath. Bearded babies, that's not cool! God, I love Wrath. Anyway. So, yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Because Alien X is kind of the last resort, and only if you really needed to, I don't think you'd actually get Alien Force or Ultimate Alien Ben winning a lot of the match, but he'd win a couple, because especially when he got like the Ultimate forms, those would be a lot more trouble to Izuku. But again, Izuku could just, float, outlast, all that, keep at a distance, like what he was doing with Shigaraki in his fight. And his danger sense would keep him out of trouble. Plus, Smoke Screen, unless he's using Terra Spin, that will keep him under wraps. But Omniverse version of Ben, where he actually had access to Alien X and all of its power, and plus all the other aliens he had access to, yeah, at that point Izuku's screwed. So overall, if we're factoring in the small amount of victories Alien Force and Ultimate Alien Ben get, and the overwhelming victories that Omniverse Ben gets, and then factoring the overwhelming victory that Izuku gets over original series Ben, the question is, where is the evening out point? And I think it comes down to the fact that Izuku can beat more, will win against more of Alien Force and Ultimate aliens than lose against. So I will tentatively say I give the win to Izuku Midoriya. But I say that on the understanding that that's an any given day scenario, and Izuku can get blinded by his own, ambitions and trying to be a hero. And Ben Ben's been known to pull, a lot of victories out of his ass. Plus the Omnitrix might aid him if Izuku's going to kill him, but we know Izuku wouldn't kill him. So I don't know if the Omnitrix would actually, get activated at that point to find the right alien. I don't think he would. At least that's my personal opinion. But anyway, yes, I will tentatively say Izuku. But who do you got? Izuku or Ben? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you folks later.